looking at the important mantra in Kenopanishad, and we've already gone through the whole text, the whole mantra, and the Bhashya also we have more or less completed for that. So now, just to today, we will kind of overall summarize that and then move to the next mantra. So one of the first thing is that when we do this Shravana, many of these things will not be that clear. A lot of times we'll have confusion, we'll still have thoughts and all that. So if you go to the tradition approach, if you go to any acharya in the tradition, they will say that you need to keep listening again and again. Do shravanam, shravanam, shravanam. That is the only way you can get resolved. But I have tried to here emphasize a little bit of the mananam also. Although very few, I saw only 2, 3 people actually make effort to respond to that mananam. So the mananam part is actually not so much for me to correct you. It is for yourself to get into that habit. Otherwise, you have to keep doing 100 different kinds of shravanam, and yet there will never be that clarity. So, mananam process is a very key aspect, and the benefit of attending these classes live, is also that. So there is a certain kind of a direct thing we grasp when we are live in the class. And there also that Shravanam, that quality of Shravanam in that live thing is very different than if you were to listen to a recording or if you were to see it online or something. So there is that aspect also because when we even have a possibility to ask questions or a possibility to answer the discussion or questions here, it will automatically trigger a certain aspect of our brain which will engage us deeper into absorbing the teachings. This cannot happen normally. Otherwise, if you're just passively listening, you know that the speaker is not there, you are somewhere else, and then you don't even know whether you can ask questions or whether you will make an effort to answer any of the questions. So all this is a way where that knowledge has to be completely our mind has to be so receptive and able to absorb this knowledge. Then only there will be no doubts. Otherwise, many aspects, like sometimes I see people assigning messages or questions, right? Like I can see that still, even though we have done nearly 3, 4 classes on this shloka, there's still doubts, there's still lack of clarity. Okay, so these are some things I think, as we go along, everyone should make that effort. All right, now the other part of the thing is here, we were told here, Pratibodha Viditam Matam, Amritatvam hi vindate, Atmana vindate viryam, Vidyaya vindate amritam. In every modification of that mind or in every experience, every perception, every thought, every vritti, when that Brahman is realized, when that consciousness is realized as the pure self, huh, that knowing leads to immortality. Amritatvam hi vindate. Atmana vindate viryam. The Atma is that Atma is the true source of strength. And we can say that Atma itself is strength. It is strength embodiment, but it is also the means of strength for the mind or for the intellect or for the jiva. And Vidyaya Vindate Amritam. How is immortality gained? We will look at that a little bit more today. Immortality is gained through knowledge, he says. Immortality or Amritatva is attained through wisdom or through realization. How is that? So, one of the first points we have to think here before we even look at the shloka further is this. When we say here, pratibodha viditam matam, in every experience, this consciousness is known, or in every thought, this consciousness can be known. But yet, a normal person, even though if you hear this also sometimes in the teaching, we don't feel we can do this. This is what somebody had messaged me. They're saying that it is true, but in every experience, I cannot know this. Why is it like that? So we can probably, maybe even before I answer, you all can just tell me a little bit. Why is it that this consciousness, which is the essence of every experience, every perception, and every thought and feeling, this consciousness is not known? Why is it not known? Or why is it that if it is so pervasive, meaning it is everywhere, meaning it is in everything, why can't we see it? Why can't we know it? Anybody wants to first tell me on this?
First is Vidya, the very first stage.
Ah,
Then if we go deeper is maybe the buddhi, the intellectual part also. Then that quality of that person, spiritual qualities, I
correct. No,
don't.
actually, avidya is correct. So that is a very, that is kind of the, like so-called like the Vedantic textbook answer. No, that is correct. It's, no. But more in a
It's also
practical level. Yeah, Jaya, tell me. Yeah.
we are
Ah,
so attached to the thoughts and judging those thoughts. So
ah,
because of which we are not able to distinguish the I and the object. That is why
ah,
we're
ah.
clinging on to the thoughts. And I mean, I'm saying like the vasanas or like the uh, attributes of the objects and all that. We're clinging on to that experiences.
Yes, that is a good. Yeah, that is what I'm wanting all of you to think. So that is one of the points. Huh? Further points?
The
Yeah.
nature, the illusory nature of the creation,
Ah,
Maya, is
correct.
taking us away from the truth.
Yeah. So Maya, how does Maya take away the illusion? I mean, how does it conceal that from us? I mean, in what
Putting a
ways?
veil, is
Putting a
putting a
veil. Yeah.
veil.
Very
Yeah.
good. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So there is a veil that very good. Yeah. So same. Yeah. That is good point. Vidya, Maya. These are the things which puts a veil, which we cannot see things as they are. Anybody else?
Swamiji, the way that I would answer the question, it's a twofold answer, two brief
Huh.
answers which seem to be contradictory, but I think they go together. The first one, it's a double negative. It cannot not be known.
Huh.
So I think sometimes we're seeking for this thing, this experience that's
Yeah.
different from what we're experiencing, but that's where the sadhaka gets tripped up. And then the second part of the answer is linked to it. There's nothing to be known in the sense of no thing. There's no second thing to be known.
Good.
So if it's known in every experience, it's not really that there is an it to be known. It's more the I experience in all of the knowingness.
Yes. Good. Very good. Yeah. These both are very good points. Yeah. Huh? Very good. Yeah. Anybody else?
Can you say, Swamiji, the
Varun.
idea that it's always there if you're not able to realize it or see it is, if I see it
Ah,
from like a very generic worldly idea, I would say the desires I have, which are always identified with the world. So
ah,
without following or knowing, realizing the idea of the text pointing that we are the sense of complete fulfillment in its own self. The idea of there that I need this, this, this. So sense of desire is what is keeping us stuck. It's
hmm.
kamas, coming from Abhita, of course. But
Yeah.
Swamiji,
So,
so
yeah,
uh,
Shamash, tell me. Yes. Yeah.
uh, I think it's so near to us
Ah,
that we just cannot distinguish. It's not something distinguishable. It is,
okay.
we are just very near. We can't say near also. It is just there in us.
Very good. Yes. Very good point. Yeah. That's a very good point. Yeah. Yeah. Jaya, tell me.
It's basically it's we are not able to understand it's a subject, and the moment I try to look for it, it becomes an object.
Correct. Yeah,
So,
it's same like what Saja was saying. It's
yes,
no thing. So it's like we are looking for an object experience.
but
So
it is
the
not a objectifiable experience.
correct.
And we are tuned in that fashion to look for anything as an experience. So it will, as you
Ah,
said, that avidya should go away. Then only I'll be able to observe that the I part.
yes. Yes, very good. Yeah. Okay. All right. So these are very good points. So these are all more or less the things. There's just one other point I'll have to say. Maybe first I'll just summarize some of the points you all mentioned. So this whole world is like an expression of this Brahman or this consciousness based on Maya, as somebody was mentioning, right? That it is that kind of that consciousness itself through that Maya gives a sense of illusion. So this illusion also is founded on this consciousness or this Brahman. And as she mentioned in the first, why are we not able to see through is avidya. This is a common what Vedanta we say, or vasanas. So two ways. One is that avidya, which is the basic ignorance. This we don't even know we have of ignorance. The other is vasanas. Vasanas, as he was saying, it's the desires manifesting. So strong is our desires. It's taking us outward into objects, things, people, pleasures, rather than looking inward. So the the ananda, which or the joy which we are seeing, is seemingly uh, kind of projected outwards. But the base of that projection also is ananda only. So we don't because of vasanas, we are carried away with that, and we look outward. So these are the generic answers, and some of you gave more practical answers also, which is very good. One of this is that, as she was mentioning, that it is very close to us, meaning it is, even to say close is not the right word. It is the it is the lens through which we are experiencing and seeing everything. So awareness is the very foundation on which all our experience is happening. And this is what Kenopanishad said in the beginning. Shrotrasya shrotram manaso manoyat. The hearer of the hearing, the seer of the seeing. So it is that very basis on which everything is happening and everything is experienced. So it is so close. It is so fundamental. It is so basic that we tend to ignore it. Now, why do we ignore it? Because it is very simple, meaning it is not colored, which we say nirguna, nirvishesha. Doesn't have that speciality, doesn't have that coloring. So when we are identified with the mind, we need colorful experiences. We are looking for changes. See, sometimes somebody is very happy and content at their home. Very nice place they will have, but still they cannot sit. Why? Because they feel something else have to do outside. So especially those of you who have gone on long retreats, you might experience this. You stay for 10 days, 15 days, then after this you say, maybe I should go out, do here something, at least go to that lake and see the birds. So this is how the mind tends to take us into some speciality, some range of experiences. So this is the simple is boring for the mind. huh? That which is too simple is boring for the mind. So from that sense of mind where we are identified, we are not able to abide in it easily, because it becomes very simple and boring. But the reality is that it is the most fulfilling, most joyous thing. If you are able to experience it with that attention of that mind. So that we will discuss at another time, but that is the basis through which everything else is experienced. Now, one point which I want to mention, which is why in the beginning of the class also I mentioned the importance of Shravana Manana, listening and being here, and especially being in the class and all that, the importance of all that. See, the one of the reasons why we don't recognize or give importance to this is because we don't have the proper pramana. No? We don't have the proper pramana buddhi, we can say. Now, what is pramana buddhi? Pramana buddhi means that the source of knowledge that I give importance to. What is pramana means epistemology, means of knowing. So I give importance to thing that I can see through my eyes. I give importance to things I can taste through my mouth. So this is my greatest source of belief or knowledge. And this is a worldly thing. We have been taught like this in the world. Seeing is believing. This, is a very common thing everybody feels. That if I can't see it, I won't believe it. So that is a very generic kind of thing. Now, the other part of this is some people are willing to accept analytical deductions. We say Anumana Pramana. So they will say, okay, I will deduct, like even if I cannot see even if I see that the sun is rising and falling, the science has concluded that the earth is going around. It is not the sun going up and down. So intellectually, they are willing to believe that. Now, here comes the important part. This knowledge is not available through any of these means. What we are talking here about this consciousness being the basis of everything, this is not available, at least now in science also, it is not fully available. In our vision and seeing, hearing, intellectual analysis, yato vacho nivartante, aprapya manasa saha. Through the intellect speech, you will not get that. So now how do I really believe in this? Meaning the first is at least some degree of shraddha to even look according to how we've been taught to look. This knowledge or this conviction initially is important, because even if we experience, like let's say if we are doing some meditation contemplation together and we get an insight of this consciousness, very easily we will neglect it. We'll say, oh, this is just something which came and went. Why? Because it was simple. It was the basis. It was that untainted. It is not like colorful. So you will ignore it. And if you say to somebody, how are you able to even think? What is the basis on which you are able to think? So they will not believe it is consciousness. Even though they have a sense that without consciousness, I cannot think, I cannot do everything. But still they will not believe. So here is where that pramana buddhi, meaning the importance to the right means of knowledge. So what is the right means of knowledge for us when it comes to consciousness, or when it comes to about Atma, is this Shastras and Guru Vakya, we say. Meaning the Shastras which you get through the tradition, this is the right means of knowing and the only means of knowing, actually. Meaning it is not like only means in that sense of realization is the direct means of knowing, but the only one which will uncompromisingly point to this is the scriptures, and of course the gurus, the guru and the scriptures. So they are the only ones who are willing to attest to this, that this what you are experiencing is that this what is the source of your experience is that ultimate reality. So this pramana buddhi, what does it do? Once we have this, then we are willing to put our time, we're willing to put our attention again and again to discover this. It is like, so it is like if you are studying some exam, some long 5-year exam, like they sometimes have this MBBS, PhD and all, right? A person has to study for many years. halfway through they will start seeing, oh, I don't know whether this is worth it or whether I should do that. Sadhakas are also like very much like that. So what do? They go and talk to other people who have done PhDs or other their mentors, other people, and then those people will say, yeah, this PhD is worth doing. You will have a wonderful career. You will have a great prospect. So this is why we need Guru and Shastras who have gone to some degree that path or who are unrelentingly pointing to that without any kind of a compromise on that. So this is the value system we have for the means of knowledge. Are we willing to give higher importance to this means of knowledge? A normal person in the world will not. So here this is a point that in fact the next shloka he mentions this point. If in this life you endure and you get this, then the whole purpose of life is fulfilled. But if you don't, if you don't get this, then your whole life is wasted, he says. So this, why is this? He's saying that Shastras is willing to tell you that truth out of compassion and out of that resolute conviction. This teaching is what? It is a teaching that has come from all the rishis who have realized that. So it is not just like another textbook or another print. It is the teaching that has come from all the self-realized masters. And in their consensus, they say that there is this Atma Tattva and it is worth finding and it is the only pursuit worth finding. So to basically answer that question I had posed, this consciousness which is right here, right now, available in all experiences, in every experience. Why I cannot see it? Partly because of all that. It is simple, it is so close, and we are full with, we are caught up in avidya, desires, and all that. But also because we don't have a proper means of knowledge. We are still taking our means of knowledge, which is our pratyaksha and anumana. So this is there with even sadhakas too. Many sadhakas, even after many years of teaching, they will still say, I know better, I have good experience. So that ability to tune in or accept or have that shraddha to take a higher means of knowledge, like the scriptures, is very useful may in revealing this. Okay, now let us again first look back at the shloka. And then I will, there was that last part, we will just, okay. So now this shloka, maybe we can just chant together, this and the next shloka. We'll do both together. So please repeat after me. Pratibodha viditam matam. Amrutatvam hi vindate.
Amritatvam vivindate
Atmana vindate viryam.
Atmana vindate viryam
Vidyaya vindate amrutam.
Vidyaya vindate amritam.
Okay, next shloka. Iha chedavedi data satyamasti. Na chediha vedin mahati vinashtihi. Bhuteshu bhuteshu vichitya dhiraha.
Bhuteshu bhuteshu
Pretyasma lokadamrita bhavanti. So now first let us complete this part. So here you see it was mentioned that pratibodha viditam matan amritatvami vindate. Now, the second part was Atmana Vindate Viryam, Vidyaya Vindate Amritam. Through that self, or through the realization of the self, or in that self, one gets strength. And through knowledge, immortality. So these 2 points we have briefly looked at, but I'll just mention a couple of other points here. What does it mean is that, see, that Atma Tattva, we discussed in the Bhashya, and it was said that it is nirnimitta, meaning it is not caused by anything. Meaning is something which doesn't have a cause. Everything which has a cause, meaning that which is caused, will also potentially be destroyed. Because if it has come into being, then it can be destroyed also. But this Atma, the first thing is, it doesn't have a cause. And it is the nature of one's own self. We mentioned that it is a pratyagatma. It is that one's own self, one's own innermost self, if you want to call it. So if immortality or Atmat Amrita is one's own swarupa, one's own nature. So the question is coming here where he says, Vidyaya Vindate Amritam. How can knowledge bring about this immortality? Because we are saying it is without any cause, but then you are saying knowledge is bringing it, is means for immortality. So at this point it's discussed, especially in the, so Shankaracharya has 2 bhashyas on this. One is the Pada Bhashya, other is a Vakya Bhashya. This is only one of the texts where he has written 2 different bhashyas on the same thing. So in that second that Bhashya, he mentions this, that see what it says, that in all that knowing, when we talk about Vidya, what kind of Vidya is this? This Vidya is not the knowledge of something else, right? This knowing is the knowing of one's own self. So that which is the knowing of one's own self is the real jnata, meaning that knowing principle, that knowing essence. That knowing essence is always there. In everything it is there. So from that undying knowing principle, when we are able to see things, experience things, then what is happening? That knowing of that knowing principle is a direct means to knowing that one has always been immortal. It is not like that immortality is created by that knowing. So that knowledge is not producing anything which was not there. So that, like, for example, like if there was a some place where there was no houses, there's an empty plot, then after a few days you go and you see there is a house that has come up. So now first you knew that has nothing being there. Now you know that has something being here. So now your visit has produced a new knowledge for you, that something is there. So here in this case, that nothing was there and something has come about. So there is a knowledge about it. But here, that essence of Atma Tattva is always there. So if you take this example, first when the body was not there also, that knowing principle was there. When the body has come into being also, that knowing principle is as much there. When we realize that knowing principle itself, then it is like knowing that empty plot of site and that house that is built. So both he comes into your knowing. So what knowing we are talking about? It is not the knowing of the house or that plot. It is that knowingness itself. That is always there. It is always present. And that is that what we call the jnata, that knowing essence. So what is this knowledge here of, we are getting here Vidya, we are getting knowledge of this knowing principle. Or if some of you mention, right, or you prefer to say I am, then you can say I am. This knowledge of this I amness. So this knowledge of this I amness is only a nimitta. It is a means. So this is like, as you get any other knowledge, this is also a means of that knowledge. But this knowing makes you realize that this I amness is immortal. This I amness is always there. Whether you are waking, sleeping, or dreaming, you will always have this I amness. So you will not die when you go to sleep because that I amness is still there. You will not die when that person who is waking will go into dreaming. That I amness is still there. So the immortality of that I amness is there in all those states. It is there in your own experience. You can see that. You don't even have to take the shastras for that. So something that is produced, like as a karma, is different. Something which has come through vidya is a revelation. See, karma means what? Some action you do, you get the result for that. Karma and karma phala. And both are anitya. Like if you go about and cook some food, and that food you're going to eat, or it is going to be there only for that time. So that karma phala is only there for some time. But vidya is not like that. That vidya of atma, it reveals something and it doesn't end. It is not destroyed. It is not it doesn't come to an end. So this is what he says in this point. Avidyajam hi viryam vinashi. Vidya avidyaya bhadayatvat. So what is the value of this vidya? He says is that this vidya is a means of strength. Why is it a means of strength? Because this Atma Tattva, by itself, it has a power of what he calls as Avarana Bhanga Samarthyam. It has the power to destroy the Avarana or the ignorance, that veil of Maya, which has been cast upon it. The power of knowledge has that potential to unveil. So this is what is the other way if we want to take it. We can say that Atma, realizing that Atma Tattva itself is strength. Why? Because once you realize that Atma Tattva, that ignorance is gone. That ignorance is destroyed. So this pursuit of ignorance, destroying that ignorance, which we are pursuing, it happens through this. And he goes on to say here, vidyaya bhadayatvat, that knowledge can destroy ignorance. Nathu vidyaya bhadako stiti. The ignorance cannot destroy knowledge. Meaning, once you get this knowledge of Atma Tattva, you will not fall into ignorance again. Meaning, once it is clear for temporary purposes, we may go back, we may regress back, we may forget it. But once it is realized, once it is known, you cannot unknow it. This is a very powerful part of the teaching. The why knowledge is the highest means. See, everything else may come and go. But the power of true seeing, true knowing, like if I were to say this is a watch, as long as your memory is there, you will realize that, oh, this is a watch. Now, the next time I show you this and tell you this is a pen only, this is not a watch, you will not believe because that vidya has, you cannot unknow something which has already been known to somebody. So, I mean, meaning here, if you really know it, you really experience it. It is in your own aparoksha anubhava, sakshatkara. Then it is not unknown. Once it is known, it cannot be unknown. And he goes on to highlight the importance of knowledge as a means to freedom. He says, even in the world, knowledge has very much power. He says, lokopi vidya jameva balam bhavati na shariradi samarthyam yatha hastadehe. So he gives an example. Even in the world, the power of strength of knowledge is quite strong. Huh? Like unlike a power of somebody like a politician, a minister, who has the power for few years. The glory of a movie star will be there for some time. Huh? But the power of Vidya is more powerful, he says. He gives an example here, like elephants and horses. They seem to be very strong, but the humans is able to rope them in also, right? How is that possible? He is not as strong physically. So there he says that because human has the power of knowledge. So even in the world we see this, that the power of knowledge is much more potential. And what to talk about the power of Atma Tattva? It is even more powerful than the normal knowledge, worldly knowledge. So his point is that knowledge in the world also is important. And that is why nowadays, we are all fearing AI, right? Because AI will take over human. It is more powerful, more knowledgeable than humans. So that is a natural fear because knowledge is the means of power in the world also. And Atman Vidya is even more powerful, is even more potential because it can lead us to samsara, ending of that samsara. So now in this thing, he takes about the samsara point in the next shloka. So what is this shloka talking about? So this shloka, iha ched avedi tata satyamasti. If one knows this Brahman in this life, here and now, if you realize this, then the life purpose is fulfilled. Nachediha vedin mahati vinasti. But if for some reason you cannot know it, then what happens? Then there is a lot of destruction, meaning that the whole purpose of life for which you came is lost. So this seems like a almost like a religion kind of a uh, what do you call, like a motivation or a carrot stick kind of thing, right? If you don't do this, then you will happen. No, here he's using more a foundation of what is basis of samsara. So he goes on to say, what is samsara? Janma janam marana rogadi sampratir ajnanam. So what is samsara? Is a it's a it is a series of going through birth, old age, death, sickness. See, if you are smart enough at the young age only, we will realize it, like how Buddha was able to see without us going through all this. But those of us who are a little dull, we realize in our old age. Oh, okay. This when the body starts hurting, there is sickness. We say, oh, this seems like it is not going to go away. It's going to take me all the way to the grave. So then the intellect starts thinking, oh, I need to figure out something. So this is the nature of samsara. Now, in the Indian philosophies particularly, almost all darshanas, including the Nastika darshanas, most of them, Nastikas, they also accept that we are not just talking about one life. And this is the basis of this is how not just based on any kind of an intellectual thing. It is based on looking through our own life. We came to this life with certain merits, certain demerits. How is that possible? So the most logical answer for this is that some stock of what you got came from previous life. So there had to be some previous life. Otherwise, it is a very cruel thing. God gave one person a better life, another person a nasty life. No, that is not a reasonable argument. So all darshanas of India, most darshanas, accept that there were more lives. And also there will be further lives. So in this context, he is saying, if you don't realize what happens, you may again be born as some animal, fly, or somewhere, again going through a lot of lives. So realize in this very life itself. Why? Because this life you have come so close. This present life, you have a lot of potential that one of the very famous shloka from Vivekachudamani. There he says, Durlabam prame vetat devanugraha hetukam. He says it is a blessing of God or our own karma. What are these things in this life? It's very hard after many lifetimes that one opportunity comes. For what? You are born with the human body. And not just human body, you have a desire to know the truth or realize the truth. Manushyatvam mumukshutvam mahapurusha samshraya. And you have come to the scriptures or the great masters to find the truth, the reality. So, see, and especially some of you from other countries, from other this one, somehow, somewhere, some connection came, and you are trying to discover the highest truth given in all these teachings, right? So, this opportunity, he says, is very rare. It is very hardly gained. It is gained through a lot of hard efforts, and it is very rarely gained by people. So even though we say there's so many humans, getting human life is out of the so many species of the life is already a very difficult thing, because only in human life you're able to reason, you're able to contemplate, you're able to use the intellect and recognize this Atma Tattva. Animals and all are driven only by instincts, right? So the Shruti here is out of compassion, giving us it's trying to nudge us. But it is not like if you don't gain in this life, then all your life is wasted. If you have made the right efforts, what it is trying to tell us is you have to make your utmost effort to realize this, and the right means of knowing. As early as possible we can come to this right means of knowing, because these days also there are so many distractions. If you go online, there are so many different people giving so many different advice, so many different teachings. So even there, we have to be able to discern what we want and pursue that with a sense of importance. So the sincerity of our seeking is what the Shastra here is trying to emphasize. How sincere we are in wanting to transcend this ego and realize that pure consciousness, that pure I amness. So any other success we get in life, whatever else we gain. So even from the Vedic point, the earlier karma kanda, lot of rituals are given because people want a long life, they want a wealthy life, they want a good family. So in order to get all that, the Vedas initially gave all those teachings to people. But then they realize there are people who realize that even that is temporary. Like Nachiketa. Nachiketa was promised thousands of years of life as a king, with lot of long life, lot of wealth, and lot of his children also with long life. huh? But he realized that how much ever long you say this is, it is only like a fraction of a second, he says. See, that is a higher intelligence. He says that even though you give me like a life of 1,000 years, if you take that life of Brahma or the whole life of universe, this is just a small period, and I will never be happy knowing that someday I will die. you know so this is not the immortality we are looking for. Immortality means that awakening to that consciousness which is beyond identification with body and mind. Okay, so this a couple of other points are there in this, where what is this iha chet? Um, how does this realizing here and now, what is its importance? And then how do he goes on to explain here in this thing, if one knows this Brahman in this life, then there is truth. If one doesn't know it here, then there is great destruction. The wise, having realized the Atma in all beings, turn away from this world and attain immortality. So we will look at that little bit Bhashya in there in the last two parts of it. Look at it in the next class. Okay. Any questions? Comments?
Swamiji, should I share the Maranam?
Let us maybe just see if anybody has any questions or comments.
Guruji, I have a question.
Jayatam, yeah.
So this the knowing principle, the knowingness we are talking about, what happens when when there is a death?
So that see, this is why, I'm saying, right? See, that knowingness is there. Is it gone when you are in dream? Is that knowingness is not gone, right, in your dream? And if, although we may not be aware of it, is that knowingness gone when we are in deep sleep? See, it seems like it is not there. But when you wake up, how is it that we know that I slept well? Right? So that knowingness was there, but it was not illumining the mind as such. But the essence of that knowingness was there. So similarly, this when in the waking, dreaming, and sleep state, it is there all the time. It doesn't dissolve just because the waker is gone. Similarly, this consciousness is not gone when we are free from the body, meaning this consciousness was illumining the body as such, but the essence of that consciousness is not lost. It was always there. And we go on to say our teaching is not just knowing that consciousness in the body. That one consciousness is the essence of everyone. So if you see this other mantra, I didn't go through this. Bhuteshu bhuteshu. Vichitya dhiraha. In every being, we should be able to see this consciousness. So when we are able to see that, see, why is it that when I meet you or I meet some living being, I have a sense of recognition that this person or this entity is conscious. If I see a rock, I will not feel that, right? But if somebody is there, sometimes we are also afraid in dark. Somebody alive is there. But if there is a rock and building, we are not afraid of them. So that conscious essence, which is there in me, is there in everybody also. So that realization will make us realize that if this body dies also, that consciousness will not die. This knowing principle will not die.
Swamiji, one question.
Yeah.
That knowing principle and that mental impression, are they, of course, it's not mind related, but are they related? Because, like someone was asking, after death, is that what happens to knowingness?
Yeah.
Like, so we bring it to the next. Is there such thing? Like the mental impression.
So where is that mental impression stored? Like you studied other texts, right? So where do you
Yes.
think are the mental impressions stored?
Sukshma Sharira.
So very good. So Sukshma Sharira, what is the difference in Sukshma Sharira and Atma?
It is still, it is a body only. But it's not that physical body. It's still one of the bodies, one of the three bodies.
Correct. So what happens at the first level, let us say we don't have realization of Atma. For a normal person who doesn't have any understanding of that Atma, when the body dies, the first recognition or the first uh, life, so-called, that he wakes up to is the Sukshma Sharira. Meaning the subtle body is what he realizes has his body, has his reality at that point. Because he is not subtle enough to even see beyond that subtle body. Meaning that consciousness knowledge is not there yet. Now, when a person dies, who is a jnani, he has realized that truth. What happens to that person is that where all the storage of impressions were stored in that subtle body, he wakes up to that consciousness and realizes that even this subtle body is not who I really am. So he's willing to give up even that subtle body identification. So all those impressions that you were asking about, right? He doesn't identify with that. Just as how, like you will not identify with my impressions, for example, right? Like if I had some experience of going to some place up in Gangotri, Tapovan or somewhere, where you may not have gone. So if you will not recognize with that, you will not identify with that. So a jnani is like that. His own sukshma sharira, it is like a somebody else's body for him. The prarabdha karma, we say, we will discuss this in the next class. There is this point of jivan mukti and videha mukti. So the person realizes at the point of knowledge or after death. That sometimes some discussion is there on that. So when the person dies, that prarabdha karma in this context ends. So there is no identification he has to keep with that body. And through his wisdom, he will not keep any identification with the subtle body. Also, all those impressions is no longer a means for uh, a rebirth for him. Because that rebirth is also based on the storage of karma. So when that avidya itself is gone, and actually we say, where is avidya? I don't know if I have discussed this. Where is the place of avidya?
Is it the causal
Mind.
body?
Mind.
Ha, ha, ha. It is the causal body or the karana sharira. So the whole cause, see, causal means the cause of bodies, all the three bodies. What is the cause of all the three bodies? So the first body, karana sharira, or the is the cause, there avidya is there. So from there, the sukshma has come, and then the gross has come. So the realization has come. Then not just the physical body, the sukshma sharira and even the causal body are gone. So then that person, where is that consciousness gone? That consciousness doesn't go anywhere. It just wakes up to its own realization. It's what it's the essence of it. So there is what another translation of this word pratibodha. Pratibodha is like, see, when we say pratibodha, sometimes it is like referred to somebody who was sleeping and he woke up. It is said this person woke up from his sleep. So here he says Pratibodha has happened upon Guru Upadesha, in the Bhashya or Tika, that translation, meaning that the person, once he gets that teachings, Tattvamasi, or he understands the teachings, then he has woken up, Pratibodha, he has woken up out of this whole samsara, of this whole identification with Karana, Sukshma, and gross body. Okay, so we will look at that our manana next class. So those of you who have not submitted, also try to work on it, and for your own self also. And next week we will look at the manana, and we will finish this second chapter. Second chapter is where the most teachings are there. So more or less we will finish this, and then only a few more teachings are there. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.